So what does it really mean to be a musician in this country or anywhere in the world, really? What kind of questions do we get asked most often? And what kind of questions do we ask ourselves? My experience so far has taught me a lot about how people think when they interact with a musician, how we are perceived by the society, by our family, by our friends. And I think over the past 10, 12 years or so, the kind of experience that I've gathered, I would love to share it with you all because I know a lot of you are young and upcoming musicians. A lot of you are deciding whether to go all in or not. And I really hope that this video can give you a detailed insight into the world of musicians, into my world. And I really hope it helps you take an informed decision. Hey everyone, how's it going? I really hope you all are doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. Welcome to the first ever episode of TheChatt Show. Now for those of you who don't know me, who are tuning into this video for the very first time, I am a singer-songwriter, music producer, Indian classical vocalist, and I think now I can call myself a content creator as well. For those of you who've seen my videos before, my music videos, have attended my live shows, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's the moments that I've spent with you. It's the experiences that I've gathered interacting with you that has convinced me that I can do something like this. And all those experiences that I've gained over the past 10 or 15 years, this is where I talk about all of that. With that, let's go right ahead and dive into what I have for you today. So what does it really mean to be a musician in India or anywhere across the world really? But my experiences are mostly based in India. To begin with, I think it involves a lot of patience, a lot of waiting, a lot of perseverance, a lot of hope. I still remember the first time I ever released a song. It was called Nadi, way back in 2017. And the excitement that you have, that you experience just before you hit that release button, it's truly magical. But once you do release it, that's when the patience game starts, because then you're waiting for people to appreciate it. You're waiting for that one phone call which says, hey, I heard your song and I would really like you to come record for something else, and I remember it took me 2 years, 2 complete full years to get that phone call. Somebody called me, I still remember, they said, hey, I heard your track Nadi and I would really love it if you come into my studio and record something for me. And so there's a certain kind of joy that you experience that it's a mix of happiness, shock, surprise, and I was feeling all of that all at once. So I did that, but as I said, it took me 2 full years to get that call. What was I doing those 2 years? I was releasing more music. I was studying music production. I was constantly reaching out to people, telling them that, hey, you know what, I'm a singer-songwriter. I've just started releasing my music and I would be grateful if you hear it. If you think there's an opportunity for me, I would love to jump on board. The second point, I think what it means to be a musician anywhere is compromise. A compromise financially, a compromise socially, a compromise when it comes to your family, your friends. There are moments where you have to just say no to a lot of things. You have to choose between meeting your friends, or it could be a rehearsal. Maybe you have to choose between spending on food or perhaps paying for rehearsals. When I started rehearsing way back in 2016 with my college band, I remember we used to pay, I think, around 600 for 2 hours. Now that would get divided between 6 people. So that was $100 per person. But now, because I make my own music, I have my own band, I have my own project, I pay anywhere between $1,000 to $1,200 per rehearsal. So naturally, I have to say no to a lot of other kinds of spending on food, on clothes, on just leisure activities like movies, etc. Third point, I think being a musician in this country brings with it a lot of judgment, a lot of judgment, a lot of opinions, a lot of stereotypes from family, from friends, from family friends, and unfortunately from their friends as well. You're constantly asked, hey, what do you do? What does it mean to be a musician? So what do you really do? You feel me? You get that? Have you ever had somebody come up to you and say, अच्छा आप म्यूजिक तो करते हैं पर और क्या करते हैं? Your friends will, they'll ask you, how's it going? How do you earn? Do you do this all day? Is there something else that you think you should do? They care about you, but they still sort of want to really understand what you're doing. Your family, your family is concerned about you. They care about you, care about your well-being. So they'll constantly be checking in. Are you doing enough? Are you earning enough? Do you feel like you should maybe do something more? Maybe you should get a side job. Maybe you should get a side hustle. And while I understand it all comes from a place of care and concern and love, it eventually becomes a little too much to handle and to answer on a daily basis. So I think, yes, a lot of questions will be asked, a lot of judgments will be passed, a lot of stereotypes will have to be dealt with. Fourth point, I think being a musician in this country really involves, just meeting a lot of people who will not take you very seriously to begin with. And at the end of the day, when you come back home, when you're, talking to yourself, having a conversation with yourself, you need to really ask yourself, are you willing to say no to those people? Are you willing to just stand up to them and say, you know what, I have decided to become a musician and this is what I'm going to do. It does not really matter if you think I'm capable of doing it, because I think I'm capable of doing it, What anybody else thinks is secondary. And the moment somebody says, are you sure you want to do this? You're second guessing yourself. You're doubting yourself. You're doubting everything you've done till that point in time. So being a musician or being an artist, being a creator, really, involves saying no to or standing up to or defending your conviction to a lot of people. So all of you who are still deciding whether to go all in or not, just know that if you do decide to go all in, you will have to answer to a lot of people. People will keep saying what they want to say. Whether you engage in that or not is completely your decision, Have faith in yourself, have trust in your decisions. Now let's jump onto the good part of being a musician in this country or anywhere in the world. First, we get to meet a ton of people. We get to meet so many amazing fellow musicians, other creators, filmmakers. We get to meet like-minded people. We get to meet people who appreciate what we do, who want to really understand what we do. So yeah, we get to meet a lot of people, and in the process, we end up making friends, the forever kind of friends, the people who will stick with you no matter what you might be going through. The second thing that's really awesome about being a creator or musician specifically is that we do what we truly love to do, right? The thing is, when you decide to become a creator, when you decide to become a musician, or when you decide to become an artist, unless you truly are in love with the process of creating that art, you can't sort of do it. You know what they say, if you truly enjoy what you do, it's not work, it's just fun. And honestly, if there is one thing that I'm 100% sure about, is that since the past 10 or 15 odd years, I don't think I've ever felt that, man, I'm working too much. Man, I'm so tired of this work. I have been exhausted, but only because I have been juggling so many projects or I've been doing so many things. But I've never been tired because I'm having to make so much music. I have never been tired because I'm having to sing so much. Sure, my voice might be tired because, medically, my anatomy has its limits. But I have never been tired of singing too much because, और कितना ही गा सकता हूँ मैं? Never. If there's one thing I'm absolutely certain about, it's that getting up in the morning to do something which is related to music has never ever exhausted me or made me feel like I want to do something more. So the third thing which is amazing about being a musician is, if everything goes well, if you work hard, if you work smart, if you know the right people, if you're constantly at it, if you're not giving up, if you're learning, growing and all of that, there is a lot of money. Yes, I know the moment we talk about art and doing what we love, money becomes somewhat a sticky topic to talk about. But It's extremely personal to everybody. For me, I think money is extremely important. It has always been important for me to be valued sufficiently well, to have my art, whatever I make, be valued at a fair price. So when I say you can earn well, I truly mean it. Please do not treat this as me saying you can be super rich, you can buy a private jet, you can buy a yacht. That is not what I'm saying. Well, if it happens for you, all the best. I'm really happy for you. But what I truly mean is that you will never feel that your work is not being valued. You will never feel that you're not getting sufficient amounts in return for the work that you deliver. When you have a certain reputation that you have established, everything falls in place. What's the next thing that's good about being a musician or an artist or a creator is that you become extremely disciplined. There's a very famous and popular quote which says, "Where motivation ends, discipline begins." What does that mean? There are moments where I'm extremely excited and motivated and inspired to make a new song, to probably, just make something new for my album, or maybe I want to release a new single, or maybe I'm working on a film, whatever it is. But what happens when you're not motivated to work? What happens when you're just not in the right frame of mind? What happens when you're just not feeling like it? That's when discipline kicks in. You have to tell yourself that I have to show up. I have to be at it. I have to constantly try. Trying is honestly half the game. Being a creator teaches you that discipline. It has taught me, and I really hope the process of creating your art helps you reach a level where you are disciplined as well. So these are, I think, the good things, the great things, the amazing things that come with being a musician. You earn a lot of money, you become disciplined, you meet a ton of exciting, amazing, brilliant people, you have clarity of thought, you are extremely ambitious, driven, you know who to say no to and who to say yes to. You know the kind of people you want to surround yourself with, because बुरे संगति का असर बुरा होता है. You are but a result of the kind of people you surround yourself with. So that is another thing that is great about pursuing any form of art or creativity in the long run. Because unless you surround yourself with people who, as I said, motivate you, inspire you, excite you, constantly drive you, I don't think you'll be able to do well. Now let's talk about another thing that comes with being a musician in this country. What kind of questions do you get asked? What kind of questions do I get asked still after being in this industry for the past 10, 12, 15 odd years? बेटा आप करते क्या हो? क्या बात है? आप गाना गाते हो, आप म्यूजिशियन हो, उसके अलावा क्या करते हो? Parents will ask you, are you earning enough? A lot of the times they will sort of, word it in such a way that they try and make sure they don't hurt your feelings. So they'll say something like, I hope you're doing well for yourself. I hope you're not worried about finances. While I have really appreciated the way my parents have treated me, my journey, my work, I know I have friends whose parents are not perhaps as supportive. And I know a lot of you who are starting out, who are deciding to go all into this field, who have just, say, maybe graduated from college, or even younger, maybe you've just finished school. I know that a lot of family members, parents, friends, they ask you, is this career stable enough? Will you have work on a regular basis? Will you earn enough to support yourself and perhaps contribute to maybe, say, when you have a partner, would you be earning enough to contribute to that part of life? These are the most common questions that I still get asked till date, till now, every day, constantly, somehow or the other, I get thrown this question. What else do I get asked? What do I really do? Aap karte kya ho? Why people ask us these questions is because traditionally, and this is my experience, traditionally, when somebody asks you what you do, they are used to hearing something like, hey, so I work at, could be anything. I work at Infosys, I work at HUL, I work at Coca-Cola, whatever it is. What else are they used to hearing? Hey, so I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a graphic designer, whatever it is. The moment you say, I'm a singer-songwriter and music producer, even though singer-songwriters and music producers and music directors have been around for the longest time, right? Right from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, we have all these legends, Manna De, etc., etc. The thing is, even now when you say I'm a singer-songwriter, music producer, people are not exactly sure of what you do. They aren't 100% sure in their minds. So now what I do is, I say, hey, I'm a singer-songwriter, which means I write songs for my own releases, I write songs for other artists, I write songs for films, and I write songs for web shows. Then they're like, oh wow, so do you just sing or do you only compose? So you see what I did right there. I explained it in such a fashion that now they have some sort of understanding and they automatically want to know more. There is a difference between this and saying, अच्छा और क्या करते हो आप? Or saying, अच्छा ये तो करते हो पर असल में क्या करते हो? You see the difference? Then they'll ask me, oh, do you sing or do you play an instrument or do you just, write? Then I'll tell them, because I'm a singer-songwriter, I sing. I also just write. And then when I say I'm a music producer, they'll ask me, oh, so do you just make the music? And in that case, I can really explain to them that yes, the kind of music that you hear, say, the intro of a web show or the background score in a film, or that quirky advertisement that you've seen on TV, I made the music for that. That voice that you heard, I've sung that as well. The words that you heard that are stuck in your mind, maybe I wrote them as well. So now they slowly start understanding that, you know what, this person does so much. There are so many things that this person does. You will only be able to do this if you know the kind of questions you will be asked, if you expect it, if you're prepared for it. So my advice, my 2 cents based on my experiences, always know what kind of questions you'll be asked. So the next question that you might get asked, and please know that this question might really annoy you, is that आप कहाँ गाते हैं? Or say you say I'm a drummer, I'm a guitar player. अच्छा तो आप कहाँ बजाते हैं? I honestly don't know what they expect to hear. Would anybody ever go up to Arijit Singh and say, तो आप कहाँ गाते हैं? My experience has taught me that when people ask this question, they do so because they think or they have an idea of what a singer does. You know how a lot of clubs and pubs and bars have weekly performances. They have tie-ups with artists who will sing every Friday, every Saturday. I think people have that sort of an idea that is primarily what a singer or a band or a guitar player does, or a drummer, whatever the case might be. So nowadays when I get asked, तो आप कहाँ गाते हैं? I start by saying films, because the moment you say films, everybody's curiosity just is lights up. They want to know, oh, which film, where can I hear you? And naturally, I can say films or short films because I have sung in films. I can say OTT platforms, right? So, say somebody says, आप कहाँ गाते हैं? I would start by saying films, web shows, advertisements, music festivals, corporate concerts, whole host of things. The moment you say stuff like this, then people do not ask you the standard mundane questions, So now when I say I sing in films, I sing in web shows, I have my own songs out, I have a couple of albums, they'll say, oh, where can I hear your album? Oh, where can I hear your songs? Where can I check out your work? You see, that's how you sort of make people curious. That's how you engage in a conversation in such a fashion that people take you seriously. Now, another question that I get asked very often, and again, this question could be very annoying, controversial, offensive, is that, ओहो सारा दिन गाना बजाना करते रहोगे, अब देखो ऐसे लोगों के साथ मिलोगे तो चलता रहेगा ना सारा दिन. You can sense that tone of judgment, that stereotype, you can feel it, that that's sort of trying to show you down. Maybe they don't mean to, but the way they ask you that question does so. So you can tell them that आफ्टर पार्टीज़ में कभी कभार, जैसे आप लोग सोशल पार्टीज़ या ऑफिस पार्टीज़ में थोड़ा बहुत कंज्यूम कर लेते हैं, हमारे लिए भी सेम होता है. द पॉइंट इज़ दैट यू आर sort of showing them that your world is not that elusive. It's not so much different from theirs. So now when I get asked, तो यार तुम लोग तो थोड़ा बहुत चलता रहता होगा, ऐसे मैं बिल्कुल नहीं करता. और जो लोग करते हैं मेरे आसपास, मेरे दोस्त, मेरे बैंडमेट्स, वो सब बहुत ध्यान से करते हैं. It's all recreational for them. It's all fun. There's no danger. Nobody does it as a habit. We only do it when we're celebrating. We only do it when we've had a very big breakthrough, when we've released a successful song, when we've performed at a great festival, just as a celebratory avenue. And the moment I say that, people say, हाँ नहीं उतना तो होना ही चाहिए, उतना तो अच्छी बात है, थोड़ा बहुत तो celebration चलता ही है. And that's how you steer a conversation. Now let's talk about the questions that we ask ourselves. Do I entertain people? Do I do what they want me to do, or do I do what satisfies me? Should I really have a side hustle? Should I make sure that I have at least one source of fixed income? What I'm doing, is it truly what I want to do? Is it something that has longevity in the industry? Is it something sustainable? These are the kind of questions that I ask myself every single day. Even when I'm in a big ass studio like Yash Raj, for example, I'm recording a song, I am asking myself, am I enjoying this process? Sure, I'm nervous. I'm nervous of what the producer is thinking. I'm nervous of what the music director is thinking. But after all that, once I remove all that, am I enjoying the process? Am I excited to be here? Am I excited to go back home and tell my friends about it? If the answer to all those questions is yes, then you're sorted, you have nothing to worry about. In my opinion, it's very important to ask these questions to yourself, because the moment you have answers for these questions, you have clarity. Now, believe me, I have met people who have asked themselves these questions and the answer has been no, which meant that they stopped doing it and they decided to do something else. They did not totally stop making music, but they decided that was not going to be their full-time thing. I also know people who were really doubtful, and when I sat down with them, they asked me, hey, how do I know I want to do this in the long run? I asked them the same questions. Do you get up in the morning and feel like, oh, it's another day, so much work, so much stress? Or do you get up in the morning and ask yourself, man, this is so exciting. I have to finish this today so that I can do this tomorrow. And then I have all these things that I really want to do. I have made a list of things that I want to do. Make music for this, release a song, make an artwork for this, get a photo shoot done, speak to a filmmaker. Is that how you get up in the morning? Or do you get up and say, यार किसी तरह ये गाना खत्म कर लूँ, उसके बाद वो कर लूँगा? If that's your attitude, then maybe this is not for you. But if you're excited, if you get up in the morning and you tell yourself another exciting day, perhaps this is for you. So again, ask yourselves a lot of questions. Ask me a lot of questions. If you have any kind of doubts, any questions, any kind of help, hit me up on my socials, my Instagram. I think it'll be linked somewhere down here. You can, drop me an email. Everything is listed in the description down below. You can ask me on Facebook, whatever you want to do. You can ask me at a concert. I'm always happy to answer all your questions. Know what you're getting into. Know the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the exciting stuff, the not so exciting stuff. As long as you're aware, there is really nothing to worry about. And I think you'll be all right, you'll do well, you'll be fine. And if I could do it, anybody can do it. I've had my fair share of struggles, of rejections, of hearing no's, but I kept showing up. I kept at it. I worked hard. I worked smart. I have amazing friends who teach me so much on a regular basis. And I have just assimilated all of that, and I'm here today in front of the camera talking to all of you. If you enjoyed what you heard in this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps to be friends with the YouTube algorithm. And each time you subscribe, it helps me do that. Hit the bell icon so that the next time I release a video, you're the first to get to know. If you have any questions, any doubts, any queries, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me via Instagram. The link is mentioned down here. You can email me. The email ID is mentioned in the description box down below. And above all, you can comment down below. And I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I'm always more than happy to answer questions, any kind of queries, doubts, and I would love to help you out. I will see you again next week with the second episode of The Chat Show. Till then, I hope you all stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, keep working hard, keep working smart, show up and enjoy the process. Till then, bye-bye.